Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We're here with the banger from the GSL. TY in the top left side of the map. And down in the bottom right, it's Classic. It's a best-of-3 match here from the very first group stage. And we are actually, now that the GSL season is wrapped up, I've been going through and I've had a whole lot of suggestions from the community on the top series from GSL that I haven't had a chance to actually watch yet or cast. And we have a few different series we'll be covering over the next week or two. So stay tuned for some highlights. This one was meant to be particularly exciting. And I'm hoping it's because the gameplay is fantastic. I'm hoping it's not just because everyone is so excited, all the Terran fans, that... I mean, TY is back. What do we even call TY? The founder of Terran? The man that creates all the builds? Essentially, when TY is not actively playing, the Terran race loses about 50% of its creativity. He is the architect of the Terran race's best builds. He is the smartest and the best late game player in many regards as well. I would argue Maru is better late game, but I would feel like TY is the guy who kind of taught everyone how to play the late game. It's just that Maru can execute it a little bit better than he can, but TY is a monster, a force to be reckoned with. He's up against Classic, and it's a fascinating match because, well, Classic's been playing fantastic late game, and he's been getting better and better. He started taking series off the top dogs recently, putting up a much better fight versus the Marus, taking the occasional series off Bian as well. Historically, you go back years before their military service and before them both being away from the game for a while, Classic usually was about 40-45% win rate versus TY, but so far this season, TY did beat him in the qualifier for GSL, and oh, Classic actually screwing up his... Oh, no, that is off-center by one space, never mind. TY not wanting to get blocked any longer. Now, TY actually hides the Marine. A lot of people have been asking me about that. Why do they hide the Marine? Why not go down there and defend the SCV? He wants to lure the probe up the ramp and then kill it. He doesn't want to give away that info. Because the probe chooses to run away, Classic doesn't actually know if there's a Reaper or not. He's like, well, there could be a Reaper, it could be a Marine, I don't actually know. But if he sees the Marine, he knows there's no Reaper. And if the PROTOSS knows there's no Reaper, they don't need to leave any defense at home. They can chrono boost adepts, shade them straight across the map, or they could just literally not build gateway units at the very start. They could just chrono boost out more and more workers. So it's something where hiding information is really something underrated. Even in Masters and sometimes low to mid GM, you sometimes in this matchup see players just kind of playing good, efficient build orders and forgetting to deny the opponent's information. But look at that. Classic catches the SCV of TY, and TY will lose that SCV eventually. But this does distract Classic's Adept, which means Adept isn't scouting across the map either. For those who don't know TY's history, back in the early days of Legacy, we were all adjusting to the kind of sped-up economy start with the 12-worker start. Also, the fact that these bases have half the mineral patches mining out much quicker. I believe the mineral patches in general started with, I think it was 2,250 minerals in Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swamp. Now, the big mineral patches only start with 1,800. The small ones with 900. So your bases mine out a lot quicker, and essentially you just kind of jump up and expand way, way faster. TY was the first one to adapt to this and start going up to above 70 workers, going to 85, 90 workers a lot of the time, which we thought was crazy. And he really showed us kind of the way you could do that. Now, right now, he's having a bit of mining tonight, but this is fine. Now the reactor's kicked in. You've got Widow Mines on the way. There's already one, I believe, guarding the mineral line up there. And these Adepts looking for a nice, easy trade. Skipping on the Hellion, something I'd never really like to do. And I guess this is the reason why. It's because otherwise these Adepts are a pain in the butt to deal with. And there are 2 Marines on the low ground. I feel like if those Marines flank right now and these 5 Marines engage, you could definitely get some damage done on the Adepts. Gotta be careful not to throw any units away, though, as TY. Oh, he actually leaves an SCV there. A little sloppy from both sides. Classic does finally get the kill as he shades away. 3 gateways behind it into Blink. So it's going to be a Blink Robo 3-gate, a very middle-of-the-road build. And actually 4th gas as well. So it looks like, I think Classic wants to go quick Colossus here. Now, remember, this one would have been played before that Colossus bug brought its way into the ladder. So don't worry, there will not be any 10-range Colossus today. And Widow Mine Drop's going to come in. Does it get spotted? No. This is a great angle to come in from because very rarely are people actually having spotters out front. Stalkers aren't too far away, but Blink is not quite ready. Classic's going to have to run the workers. Let's see how well he splits his probes. Very good handling there by Classic, but his Stalker's a little bit far back, and he gives TY the free pickup. I do think that's a bit of a mistake there from Classic. You really don't want to let him get out so easily. Robo Bay does go down behind this. Classic wanting to get into the Colossus. He's still up 8 probes, which is nice. The Adepts do pick off a Marine there on the way out. Nice reactions by Classic. And TY throwing these depots down in a bit of an odd position. He's actually going third command center. Okay, yeah, TY is still playing that classic style we expect from him. He's like, I like economy. I'm either hitting a very well-planned timing attack early on, or I am going to play the late game and try to beat you there. Now, TY, if we think back to... I'm thinking of him versus Parting. I remember games where he was like 2-3 years ago just spreading tanks. He never stopped building tanks, and he just played the... what I refer to as the I'm never going to die style. It's not really threatening to the PROTOSS. PROTOSS can kind of take the whole map and do what they want. But if a Terran just keeps on building siege tanks non-stop all game and keeps them behind walls and cliffs, it's nearly impossible to kill them. The problem is if you, at some point, get overeager, move all those tanks across the map and lose them, or if they're out in the open where zealots can charge on top. That's where it becomes problematic, and that's where you see these styles crumble. The other, I guess, where it crumbles area is the fact that PROTOSS can just take 7 bases and go to late game. They don't really need to be that worried about tank pushes. I mean, I remember Special doing a giant tank. What? Mech? No. No, I mean, I thought it was a late bio transition. I didn't think it was, into Stim and Shields and second and third barracks. I did not think he was actually doing this. A mech build versus PROTOSS. No way. TY. Are you drunk, mate? I mean, it's cool to see. I always say mech is actually quite good versus PROTOSS below pro level. The problem with it at pro level is that you're so immobile. You get an advantage and it's so hard to capitalize, and the PROTOSS can almost always like wriggle their way back into the game. And yet on the other hand, defensively, you're so fragile. One thing goes wrong, everything falls apart. One prism gets in your main, 8 zealots kill all your SCVs. The tanks are ever exposed on their own, they get blasted. And it's very difficult to have enough defense to deal with the zealots and whatnot. I think Widow Mines are absolutely crucial. Hellbats are just not that good with this style. And the thing is, you're like, okay, well, Widow Mines then. And it's like, yeah, problem with Widow Mines, they kind of get picked off by Stalkers, don't they? They get outranged by Stalkers and Colossus and all of that. Now, Classic has no idea what's happening, and that's a huge problem for him. If he doesn't realize what's going on, it can really cause you problems. Now, notice TY is leaving an opening. Ah, he's leaving tiny openings on either side of the wall on purpose to let the units funnel through. Interesting. So he's purposely leaving little openings. Remember, if those tanks don't have a wall in front of them, they disappear very quickly. It's such a fragile style. You got to be so careful. So I want to see him build walls everywhere. And I often feel the difference between the players who succeed with this style and lose, they don't reinforce the wall or don't rebuild the wall. I really feel like engineering bays, even factories should be part of the wall. Like everything should be just focused on keeping your tanks alive. If your tanks alive, they outrange everything PROTOSS has, and you should be fine. Arguably, disruptors do still outrange siege tanks. I've been told that by some pro players, but it's very hard. It was already very hard to outrange siege tanks by using the edge of the disruptor splash damage. They say you need to have it pretty much pixel perfect now to be able to hit a siege tank without getting hit in return. On the other hand, if there's only one siege tank in range, you can take 2 siege tank shots without losing a disruptor. So it's not the end of the world. If you can get 2 disruptor shots off, you'll kill a tank. Finally seeing that it's MECH, Classic knows what he's up against. He's going double upgrades. He's going double disruptors behind this. He's got a forward gateway. He's got some zealots. He's going to 4 bases. And a Stargate is on the way. So it looks like he's deciding, I want to play Sky Toss. A lot of people I've talked to, they've always said, how do you counter mech pig? And I've always said, well, you want to get up about 5 bases, 22 gateways, double upgrades, start flying 2 prisms down each side at a time. If you ever get a lot of zealots in the back, it'll win you the game. And I love that Classic is going for the back of the natural. That is the best angle. It's only 1 turret here, whereas there's usually a lot of turrets and Widow Mines and whatnot in the main, as you see. So if you can get zealots around the back of the natural or into the back of the main, that's big. And then you just want to attack the front with a big spread of Zealot and Mortal Archon, maybe some Stalkers. But the wall-off is pretty good for TY. Also, he's going to be moving forwards right now because he senses his opponent's being greedy. Now, I should finish that point. Pro gamers disagree with me, guys. They always say Sky Toss is what beats mech because this traditional mech army, tanks and Hellbats focused, does not beat carriers, does not beat Tempest. So you get those units out, you're going to be able to take it down as the game goes on. I always argue that's just more technical than is necessary. And if you just go to, 90 probes and just start throwing basic units, like if Zealots ever get on the tanks, they wreck. Any Storm can be really good too. Already clearing up some buildings. This is a very small army though. Oh, there's a few more disruptors coming though. I don't know about this. Raven Interference Matrix. No, goes for an anti-armor missile, which isn't that scary. Prism does fly in the back. Oh, keep it alive. Keep it alive. Keep it alive. Does keep the Prism alive for now. Nice Zealot drop. TY has to move his whole army home. I don't know if TY was as prepared for this as he probably should have been. He doesn't have Blue Flame as well, keep in mind. Those Hellions are okay versus the Zealots, but they're not absolutely king against it. These SCVs in the natural not running away that well. Vikings do land nicely, though. And some good shots go off. One Viking does fall. Barracks on the right does spot the proxy gateway for the Warpins. First carrier starts up, +1 air opens on the way. MECH is going for the 2-2 upgrades. He's going to look for some stray balls here. Great force field by Classic. 20 SCVs go down. Another disruptor goes out. Does miss those units in the middle, but 20 SCVs, and Classic hasn't really lost any important units. The problem is the core of his army does suck. So that is his one big weakness right now. He tries to warp in there, but Vikings will shoot him down. TY's push is finally going to get going. What is there to stop it? Classic needs to make sure his disruptors are out in front of this army. If he doesn't intercept it with his disruptors, he's not got the meat and potatoes to stop it. He needs a little bit longer to get those carriers out. There's 6 Vikings in the field. First 3 carriers about halfway done. Zealots on the right side getting ready right now. TY just moving forward to the Rich Gas base and sieging up, in fact, so he should be swapping into Thors right now. Widow Mines can clear up the interceptors pretty well. But yeah, no Blue Flame, no Thors building just yet. He scans, he sees the first carrier pop out, very important scan. And no doubt we will see Thors queue up when he has the money. He's already got 2 starports, one with a tech lab. Actually, sorry, is it 2 on tech labs? Oh, here we go. Zealots coming in on the right. I'll have to find those starports later, guys. He's got at least 1 tech lab, 1 on the reactor. Zealots coming in from both sides. Very expendable units for an 88 Pro PROTOSS player. He finds a few SCVs as well as a siege tank. Disruptors land on the tanks on the front. Oh, he could have kept going there potentially, but he does pull back. Zealots get cleaned up on both angles. Units lost tab is about dead even. Usually pretty good for PROTOSS, but remember, TY's economy, his growth is being kind of crazy, so he can trade. He can trade just like this, no worries. He's pretty happy to do it. He's putting more tanks and more Vikings. The Vikings are going to have great ship plating upgrades. They will not have attack upgrades, though. Not just yet. Plasma shields, +2 air attack, and now +1 air armor, all on the way. And the sensor tower is overlapping. It's like sensor tower is all not very far apart, so he's never going to lose that vision. I love the Widow Mine spread. A few more turrets would be very powerful as well. There is an engineering bay. It hasn't made building armor just yet. That'll be something that he adds as time goes on. Mass tank Viking. This is really interesting. So Psystorm counters Vikings. Something I've talked about for many years in late game, though, is that Koreans always play no Storm in late game. Most pro gamers in general. I've talked to a few of them about it, and they're like, oh, Storm's not that reliable. And I'm like, it's end game. You've got unlimited money. Once you get past the 15-minute mark, you know, in a game like this, where there hasn't been that much fighting early, you're both at 100 workers, you're both on 6-7 bases, there's no excuse to not have Psystorm. Because if you don't have Psystorm, you can't do anything about those Vikings. Yep. I get that they can still EMP them. It's not completely reliable, but having a few High Templar peppered around, it really zones out the Vikings. You can also feed back things like Ravens and Ghosts if they get too close. So it's very scary if you're just on Carrier, Tempest, Colossus, Disruptor. Like, you have nothing that shoots up except the carriers. And there's enough Vikings to beat the carriers. So this is a losing position for Classic if they just fight. Those Vikings, I think, can dive. But they have the interceptors pre-launched. Oh, anti-armor missile goes down. The Vikings getting very low, but not quite enough to one-shot them. Not quite enough Vikings to one-shot them. That being said, it might not matter. Oh, my lord. That is just too many Vikings for that carrier count. He loses about 8 Vikings for 4 carriers. I think he'll take that trade any day of the week. 2 Vikings, a carrier. Very good trade there for TY. You can see he's ahead in the units lost tab now. You got to have something on the ground, and a single Psystorm there would have forced him to disengage. And the thing is, if you disengage versus carriers, whoo, it doesn't go well. You lose a lot of Vikings on the retreat. Remember, carriers have way less range than Vikings, right? It's like, oh, I only have 8 range. You have, I think it's 9 for the Viking. Let's check. Yeah, but the leash range is 12. So once the interceptors are out on those Vikings, they won't pull back until that Viking gets 4 range away from you. And that is, of course, a easier said than done. Zealots cleaning up over here on those Hellions. Even Hellions don't really counter them that well. Like we said earlier, even with 2-2 and Blue Flame, Zealots are pretty tanky units. Widow Mines are trying to deal with the Zealots there on the right. Air upgrades have stalled out momentarily here for Classic. Classic's got to make sure he remembers those. He's doing a good job keeping up the activity level and kind of shaving off units where he can. He blinks forward. He's going to use Stalkers to counter the Vikings. Remember, for their supply cost, Stalkers are pretty trash units at max. It's good because they're flexible and they have nice blink micro, but no Psystorm is a big strategic error. And yeah, I think at this point in StarCraft's history, guys, we're seeing that, you know, Pig does shout about strategic errors for often 2 to 3 years before players listen. It's like, why? Pig must just be blatantly wrong, right? I'm like, I don't know. Every now and then I am. Every now and then I do hop on about something that's like wrong. But I don't know. On this one, I'm pretty confident. It's a lot of money in the bank for Classic. Just look at this. Look at this. Those Vikings should not be able to come that far forward. There should have been a Psystorm landing there, or at least have the High Templar. And the thing is, it's about making them respect you. The thing is, if you don't have the Storm, you can't pick away at them with the Tempests and the Oracle Revelation, because they just come forward, kill a Tempest, and you're like, oh, damn, I have to run away now. If you have Storm here, it's him who has to stay back with the Vikings. Your Tempest can start bullying. That's the big issue. Templar Archives is coming in with more gateways now. I'd love to see that transition out of Classic. SCV's on the left getting ready to take that base. He's going forward one more time. Looks like he blinked a bunch of Stalkers forward. Does get 2 siege tanks. Units lost tab is still in favor of TY right now. 12,500 versus 11,500. Now remember, in these sort of games where your opponent's clearly just trying to camp, you'd want to immediately take this base, and this base, and you want to fully saturate them as well. You want to transfer workers up there. So there's no reason for you to be saturating all these bases in the back that are very easy to protect when you could take the ones in the front. Nice charge forward though. So a bit of a mistake there for Classic, but it's the same mistake all the top players make. About 10 minutes from now, when TY is actually pushing out onto the map and Classic can't defend those bases, that's when he'll transfer probes there. Zealots do charge on those siege tanks on the right and the left side. Oh, looks like on the right, he's going to secure that base, though. Losing a few tanks is not the end of the world, man. You can see it's like, oh, he's breaking through. No, he's not. He's broken through the very upper crust. He's cracked the upper crust, and that's it. Those units are getting replaced now with battle cruisers. Oh my gosh. 3 battle cruisers are building right now. Is this 4 starports? 5 starports. Wow. Okay, where are all of these starports? 2 in the natural as well. Disruptors come forward. I love that. The tanks are a little bit further back. That opens up a chance for the Disruptors to do what they can. The Oracle does get picked off. No feedback, no Psystorm, unfortunately. And he's now losing a lot of map vision as well. If you've got the Terran pinned in more, you can keep some observers sieged in these areas, which gives you a lot more vision, as well as maintain both watchtowers. Classic's taking the base on the right, but he hasn't moved probes off any of his safe bases, which tells me he's probably not going to be doing that at all. You look at the pace of this game, you look at the APM of both players, and you have to ask yourself, what are they both doing? Don't get me wrong, they are doing a lot. They're macroing, especially TY has a lot of infrastructure to still add. The PROTOSS player doesn't have to do as much as the Terran at this stage, though, and that's why Classic has to be very clever with how he picks him off. I like that he's rotating to a new angle. If he starts picking off these units, he can find some really, really big openings. Ooh. You know, I play enough games against Supernova on the North American ladder where he's trolling with dumb mech stuff as PROTOSS, and I'm playing PROTOSS that I have a bit of experience against similar styles to this, and he tends to try to go mass BC as well. Supernova nowhere near the level of TY though. I feel like if TY gets 90 SCVs and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bases, I would feel pretty defeated. I would feel like there's nothing I can really do here. Because now as the battle cruisers are coming in, they're going to start harassing your bases, and there's not many ways to shut that down. Mothership's almost out. Zealots and Immortals are going to run down the right side. Ooh, okay. The landed Viking, they're actually doing pretty well. Immortals will take it out. Here we go. Tempest's going to start raining down a bit of death on those battle cruisers, but only a couple of shots before they pull back. More Tempests are on the way. 3-2 air weapons coming in as well. A couple of forward batteries were built. The Viking Raven still hunting for any air pickoffs. Servos hasn't been upgraded yet. I'd love to see him get transformation servos just so he can do this lift and land stuff a bit faster. TY! Dude, he's going to take out the base on the left. I was thinking I'd just see some sort of crazy mech timing, but I love seeing a proper turtle mech play where TY's added so much infrastructure. He's up on... he's only on 3 orbitals. He doesn't have the Iron Bank. That's one weakness. Stalkers pick off a Viking there. Immortals and Dark Templar run forward on the top right. Battle cruisers are there, though. As long as he scans, he can take this out. And he will scan. Take out the Immortals, take out the Dark Templar. Once again, I don't think this is cost efficient. And that's okay if you mine out some of these forward bases, but he hasn't. And this base now died. Yeah, his back bases are going to start mining out. He's still got the central base, which is great. Completely unmined, so he can transfer to that whenever he wants. I actually have a funny tendency to forget that middle base exists. It feels so exposed to me. Ooh, Dark Templar coming in on that top right. Has he got Blink? It's almost ready. Shadow Stride will be ready in a second, and he's going to just take that planetary out, I think. Oh, he should have focused it. What are we doing? Classic, go for the planetary. I can't believe he went for the other things first. Okay, he does get the planetary anyway. Definitely a scary moment for him. Battlecruiser's coming in. Mama's nearby. She does have recall available. Where is that air army, though? Coming in from the bottom left. Did he use his Nexus? He accidentally recalled to this base. Huge mistake. Oh no, Classic recalled to the wrong Nexus. Then he had to use the Mothership recall to make up for it. By then, the battlecruisers had already teleported home. Them and the planetary clean up the Dark Templar. Shut that down. He loses the base on the left. A few Vikings are landed. Oh, TY is taking Classic to Diddletown right now. He's playing so much more efficient, but remember, he's the mech player, and mech is incredibly fragile. At this level of play, I mean, with his bank, Classic's like making lots of small mistakes. None of these is I'm throwing my whole army away. It's I'm losing mining. I'm losing a little bit of the momentum I should be gaining. I should have been able to get to 10,000 in the bank while you're still only on a few thousand. Instead, it's going to be like there's more room for TY to still throw this game. And I say throw because it definitely does always come from you leaving an opening, but it's surprisingly easy to make that mistake when you're playing mech. I mean, I say this because I've tried mech a bunch versus Protoss, and I always have the tendency to just chuck that game away, unfortunately. High Templar here, I think he's thinking of making Archons. There's 26 Vikings, man. They would get so wrecked by Sidestorm. Like, to me, it's actually sad that top Protoss players can get in this scenario and just go, no, can't make Sidestorm. Because, like, I get it. When ghosts are out, it's just there for the threat of it. It's like, oh, it just makes them be more careful. They need to wait for the ghosts to clear out the High Templar before the Vikings can move forward. It's kind of like it forces them to play safer. In this scenario, though, there's no ghosts. He never played Bio. There's no ghost. It's mech. What's he going to do? Use Interference Matrix on the High Templar? Sidestorm finally starts up at 21 minutes. Okay, Classic, thankfully. Man, this is bringing me back to memories of casting Zest versus Maru on Romanticide. And Zest was like, he was actually quite ahead in the game, and then he just did nothing but make Stalkers, Disruptors, and Carriers for the rest of the game, and he just refused to make any other units, and I was like, Maru has 43 Vikings, please make High Templar, and he's like, no, I'm gonna warp in 16 Stalkers, and they'd get like 2-shot by tanks, and I'd be like, oh no, don't like this, man. The Liberators were ruining them. Whereas one High Templar, one Sidestorm, and those clumped up boys. Oof. All right, where are those High Templar? Hopefully they're not all with the army. You want to start leaving 1 or 2 peppered around as well. So when these Vikings come forward, the way he's been kind of bullying for map control, you want to try and drop the surprise storm from the high ground. Mama's going to go for a recall on the main. She's going to go down the left and try to recall into the main base, but there's mass turrets and sensor towers watching, so I don't think that'll work. Carrier Tempest is going to shove the right side. The Viking Ravens just off to the left in the middle of the map. I think they seem to be hunting right now. I guess they're once again cleaning up the observers on the map. TY's been really good about denying Classic's map vision. Carriers are going to shove down the right. That's 10 Carriers, 6 Tempests, and a few High Templar. Oh, Mama gets caught! TY with some killer instinct right there. I don't know how he knew Mama was there, but he seemed to. On the right, though, looks like he can't take this fight. 9 Battlecruisers. Oh, he's looking for Yamato! Sidestorm comes in. Pretty good Sidestorm. Those Battlecruisers are going to take a lot of damage. They take damage. Only 1 BC dies there. They get a lot of Yamatos off. I would say the only mistake is that he spread the Yamatos out too much. You want to make sure you do 2 Yamatos on each of these capital ships so they actually die. Notice he's recalling home now. The trick is if you ever get cornered with those units up against Battlecruiser Viking will beat them really hard, or even Mass Battlecruiser teleporting on top. And one of the big reasons for that is because carrier attack is not very high damage. Only 2 times 8 damage for each Interceptor's attack. Battlecruiser has a base armor of 3. So their attack versus armor upgrades cancel out. You're doing 3 damage times 2 with each Interceptor, which against a 550 hit point unit is of course not that big. When they're hitting units with only a base armor of 1, like a Viking, suddenly, or actually 0. Sorry, I forgot Vikings had 0 base armor. That's where they do way more damage, almost double. Did I? Yeah. So because the base carry damage, did I say 8? Yeah. Because of the base damage, so we can account for the armor. It's basically 8, and then the battlecruisers are at 6. Wait. Does that mean it's only 2 times 2? Oh yeah, it's only 2 times 2. It's not even 2 times 3, guys. It's 4 damage, not 6 for each interceptor attacking. Oh my god, it's even less than I thought. Void Rays here. Void Ray is very good at shooting down battlecruisers. Problem, they almost get 1 shot by Yamato. So you want to put 1 Yamato on each Void Ray, and then they'll get 1 tapped by anything else, and that's exactly what's happening. Classic. You see those? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. He actually double Yamato'd a few of them. Even double Yamato'd a Tempest. Oh, the Battlecruiser. And he's going to dive. He's going to dive on top. Classic needs to recall right now. You need to recall right now. Classic. Oh, no. Classic didn't have a recall in the bank. Oh, no. You have to have recall waiting for this. Otherwise, you cannot risk getting caught on the map. Oh, that is exactly what we were talking about. You need recall to save you, because if they force the fight, they will ruin your army. He's going to try and remake carriers. That can't be the play. Can it? Can it? Oh, man. Dude, he's getting minced. 15,000 resources more efficient. Let's look at the trade, guys. 3 battlecruisers and 19 Vikings for 14 carriers, 8 Tempests, 5 Void Rays, and a Mama ship. Guess the mothership did die earlier on, but still, that overall trading on the air units is great for TY. All right, guys. This base is mining. I mean, Classic, the advantage he has is that he hasn't actually mined out most of the bases on his side. He did mine that one out, but this base, he might take at some point. This base has a lot. This base has a lot. A lot of gas here, and this one, yep. So he's got plenty of gases he can take later on. His minerals are actually very high. His gas is a little low. He's going for 8 Tempests at a time, so he's cancelled his carriers and built Tempests, which makes a lot more sense because Tempests do bonus damage to to massive, sorry. Battlecruisers are massive units. So normally you want to just basically one-shot a battlecruiser, run back, one-shot a battlecruiser, one-shot, run, one-shot, run. So you can just stutter step with Tempest versus BCs, and you'll look really good. He has to teleport on top of the Tempest. You quickly snap recall to get away, and then you start once again kiting them. But if they ever trap you without recall, the Tempest will disappear in the blink of an eye. You know, you're playing a dangerous battle. It's kind of like playing Cyclones battle mech. You got to hit and run. If you ever get cornered, the Cyclones are the worst unit in the game. Tempests and the Cyclones are actually kind of similar in that way. Mobile, long-range units meant to snipe things from a distance without ever getting hit. Viking's going to come in with a land to try and defend the planetary on the left. Clears a few turrets out, does Classic. I like that he's staying active with his ground army. He's actually, this is one of those funny things. It's like your ground army of really basic units suddenly starts finding a lot of success in the ultra late game. 16 battle cruisers with 3-3. The only problem I have with TY is he hasn't repaired them. He doesn't have teleport available on most of them either. So he's actually got to be quite careful. I'd like to see him, oh, he's killed a few bases. That's amazing value. Pull back and repair them. Oh, this BC should teleport out of there. Teleport out of there. The planetary is doing great. Does get it out. SCVs are trying to repair. Planetary is going to go down, though. That's huge. This is massive because now Classic opens up the entire center of the map. He can clear all these turrets. This is huge. This is absolutely massive. He doesn't have a lot of detection, so those Widow Mines are problematic. But forcing the battlecruisers over here is nice. Just focus the turrets down. There's no way you're going to get the planetary, is there? No way. That's a lot of +3 Stalkers. They do 24 damage versus armored. I always forget how much damage those new Stalkers do. Oh, he's going to try and recall. Yamato takes out one of them. And the rest of them do recall. Stalkers actually recall on the front. Battlecruisers are going to teleport on top. Mama is toast unless she gets recalled by a Nexus, which she doesn't. The Stalkers do blink out, but a few Yamatos chase them. Once the Yamato starts channeling, you cannot get out of range. But if you blink while it's in mid-air, then it will miss you. You gotta wait for it to be in mid-air, though, before to make it dodge. A few more battlecruisers here. You gotta watch out for those Widow Mines. That is bait. If you blink on that, you're taking big boom booms. Stalkers blink forward, damage some of those. Great micro here from Classic on the low economy. It feels like Classic has just cleared out like 15,000 resources, maybe 10,000 resources of TY's infrastructure. And this TY's mining sucks now. TY doesn't have anywhere near as much money mined in this game, I guess, and Classic's done really well. Classic's out of gas, though. Classic is out of gas. Okay, if Classic takes this gas, rich gas is mining, still has these gases untaken. This gas is impossible. I don't think you ever get that base up, so probably not worth wasting the money. Making a few Void Rays and going up to 13 Tempests right now. Trying to retake the gas on the left. Battlecruisers are going to say, yeah, nah. The thing is, you don't want to use your teleport to retreat anymore. You want to use that to make sure you can use it to jump on top of the Tempest. If you teleport home, the Tempest can push you because they know it's a big 64-second or 71-second cooldown on the tack jump. Whoa, what a crazy TvP, man. I wouldn't copy this at home, guys. Very hard style to make work for TY. He's going to teleport on top of the Stalkers. That's really bad because now the Tempest can push him. That was a huge misplay by TY. TY just screwed the pooch, guys. TY just made a massive mistake. And look, he teleports on the Stalkers as well. That is the rule 101 of mass battlecruisers. You can't do that. I don't know if he has enough Vikings. He might have enough Vikings to scare back the Tempests. Got some Widow Mines helping to guard them as well. Oh, if only had a few. Where are those High Templar? Still got to keep a few High Templar on the map ready. Just 1 or 2 storms on those Vikings could be game-changing. Zealots up in the production, looking good. Zealots tearing up depots, everything. If this distracts enough to take out this base in the top right, then TY's mining is back in the Stone Age. Meanwhile, Classic. Oh, the rich gas already mined out. That sucks. So he's out of gas mining. He needs to take these gases here, and he needs to secure a new base. He's got a ton of minerals, but every bit of gas he loses right now is insanely bad because he has no gas mining. The Stalkers are blinking forward. The Zealots coming in with them as well. And Classic, let's go. Oh, he's going to dive the right. Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Classic. He's going to take some boom booms. Does need to pull back and revelate that bad boys. There we go. He revelated the wrong spot. He just did a panic revelation on the ground at the wrong spot. Tries to take out the Banshee upgrade, which, to be honest, is not the wisest thing for TY to be going. Not sure if TY is preparing for a base trade or something with that. I'm like, why are we getting Banshees? You have battle cruisers. They're a better unit, man. 14 BCs are up in the skies. 7 BCs have died this game. 14 carriers. The Zealot Stalker is still trading okay here. It's down to a 12,000 resource deficit. Classic needs to secure another base, though, and he just cannot get it up. And he's forgotten about this gas for sure. This is a weird thing that happens. Often you skip your like 3rd or 4th base gas in PvT, and you end up just, oh, I need gas. You just take it on your newest base out of habit because that's the base you've been kind of monitoring the probe saturation on. So all high-level PROTOSS players have this habit and have had this mistake happen. It's still, in a game like this now, the problem is that now the pressure is so high, he's so busy on the multi-prong, he's not taking the time to like go back home and take stock of where he's at. He's going to retake the gases on the far left. Tempests are here. You got to be real careful. You got to stay clumped to make sure you don't get caught. These battle cruisers are going to teleport in your face, man. Oh, you can't. Yeah, I mean, he goes for the production. He loses the Oracle. I don't like this move for Classic. Classic has to recall right now. He does have Mama at home, and she's got 126 energy. Remember, her recall does not have a cooldown. It is energy-based, and it costs 100 energy. There we go. Good snap recall. 1 Void Ray does get left behind, but that's okay. Does force the teleport at least, so that's something. Gets a little bit of damage, but not too much. 2 BCs on the left. Got to hunt these bad boys down. TY is just going to take out the Nexus. No cancel for Classic. Classic was rich on the minerals earlier, but now we're getting wasteful. Zealot's going to go down the right, but there is a squad of battle cruisers there as well. Dark Templar going into that base wouldn't be too bad either. Just keep trickling them in, of course. When you're out of gas, you can't really afford to throw away any gas units. And there is an observer here, so these Widow Mines are getting cleaned up. The Widow Mines all over are getting crazy value. Cleaning those Widow Mines up is huge. I love that TY keeps building them. I was saying earlier, Hellions aren't that good, but Widow Mines are just god tier, man, and keeps building them, which is great. 7 Zealots for 1 SCV. Okay, they get 2 SCVs. Not a good trade, but it's something. Classic's going to start trying to take out the production. If you could focus the starports down, that'd be pretty huge. TY doesn't have a lot of movement on this map, and it feels like if Classic can just mine this base on the left, if he could just remember those gases in the middle, he'd win this game. Oh, a Tempest and a Carrier get 1 shot. The Tempests are doing okay, but there's not many other raw fighting units. It's just Tempest right now. Where's the recall? Where's the recall? Okay, he does recall, but he's lost a lot of the units to the Vikings. Oh, man. Imagine 1 random High Templar dropping a Psystorm on those Vikings. Would have made that fight much easier. As it is, we've got the Widow Mines firing 1 more time. There's still an observer on this map, but it's over there. It's tracking those BCs and Vikings. Now that he's cleared up all the turrets, he can kind of keep TY in a bit of an awkward spot. Mama's running down the right side. She needs to get out of there. That's a minus 400 sacrifice right there. That is not good for Classic. And oh no, not again. Classic's way out of position. He's trying to save Mama. He does manage to take out a battle cruiser, but the Yamato's going to come in. Oh god. Does get rid of a few of these BCs, but Mama goes down to the Vikings on the far right of our screen. The Vikings can flank in at any moment. Those Tempests need to get out of there. He's stopped making High Templar because he doesn't have the gas, and now it's just Zealots and Tempests. 10 Tempests is not enough. 12 BCs and 15 Vikings will get it done because there's still gas mining for TY. There's still mineral mining, whereas Classic has a couple hundred minerals and nothing else. And every one of those Widow Mines that lands is devastating. Poo-wee. That there is the boom booms. That there is the boomity booms. Viking battlecruiser coming forward. Tempest gets picked off. Another Tempest gets picked off. Battlecruiser's teleporting on top. Where's the recall? Oh no, Classic's caught on the other side without a recall. You can never, in this situation, get caught out there. And TY weathers the storm. Insane efficiency for TY. Yeah, look at that, guys. That is like, what, 16,000 resources more cost efficient in the units lost. And you might say, man, his back was still up against the wall. Well, that's the weakness of mech. The problem is you have to invest in so many buildings, and the moment you get caught out of position, you lose so many. So at this late stage, notice most of his income lost has been turrets, command centers, depots. It's all the buildings and SCVs you're constantly losing where you lose all that money. And because you're so much less mobile until you get the battle cruisers out, the opponent does still suck up more resources on the map. That's why mech is hard. TY says, that's fine. This is a great turtle map. I'm going to pull out mech. All right. Well, game 2 is going to be on altitude. Classic down here in the bottom left. Now, if I was Classic, I would not expect mech again. This map has a much more spread out base layout. And honestly, even before I knew map 2 was altitude, I was already thinking TY is probably going to play bio next game. And I wouldn't be surprised if he hits an aggressive timing. You're going to get in there in your head, oh man, how do I beat that? That was crazy. Mech's so good. The battle cruisers harass was just insane. Hopefully someone on Classic's team told him, hey buddy, You forgot to take a couple gases there, man. You got to take those gases. Those gases on that third, or I think it was fourth base at the front. Oh, so he just never took him, forgot about him, and those 2 gases would have given him a lot of opportunities to push through, because he definitely had TY on the ropes with all that Zealot Stalker multi-prong, but doesn't quite pull it together. Unfortunate for the PROTOSS fans out there. You know, Classic's been slowly building his way forward, and he's looking incredibly good. But TY has come back more recently than Classic, and I feel like he's having a very quick climb back into high esteem. And again, people are always hyped for TY, so you gotta be a little bit like, all right, you know, everyone's just so hyped for anything TY does because he has such a place in that race, whereas there's actually very few PROTOSS players who copy Classic's builds. I've always loved learning from watching Classic. I find him quite inspirational because he's so flexible and kind of does every different style. But because of that, he's not as flashy, and the fans just don't gravitate to him the way like TY. Everyone's like, oh, his build's the third genius. Maru's the god of late game and proxies. You know, and you got like Dark with his crazy weird all-ins and openings. Oh, this is, you know, everyone has their own different flair, and Classic's just like so well-rounded as a player that for whatever reason, not that many people copy him. Zest, I guess, is kind of the closest thing to TY that the PROTOSS ever had, where lots of people would always be copying Zest's builds. He'd figure something out, and he'd do it over and over again, and people would go, oh yeah, that's really good. I'd say for TY, you'll see him repeat the same builds a lot, but very rarely 2 times in a row. TY is very good at planning out his series. Every game is different. There's always a plan of, okay, get you thinking about this, then go do that. I think the only argument would be that if you're too predictable at not doing the same thing twice in a row, like that almost is a level of predictability in of itself. I feel like 1 in 10 times you should mix it up just to keep your opponents guessing, right? And actually do the same dumb proxy 2-rex twice in a row. And actually, as memory serves, I'm pretty sure I've seen TY do that, where he just like proxy 2 or 3 rexes 2 or 3 games in a row against a Zerg because he knows that they would never expect it. Proxy Stargate from Classic here. TY doesn't have any real scouting out there. He's just going to go for a really standard opening. He saw a second pylon at home, so I mean, Classic did a good job of disguising it. The SCV scout did go in earlier. When I said no scouting, that was a bit of a doo-doo by me. Adept is not going after the SCVs. Reaper's already got a probe kill. Could circle and get that one. Yeah, he's going to get it. Nice focus fire. And the Adept is finally here, but a big mistake by Classic. Because the Reaper went on a scouting path before it jumped in, he just was not ready for a Reaper at all. And now Classic does at least get 1 SCV and a little bit of mining time to try to punish him for that. The Oracle definitely could get in for big damage, but with a Cyclone already almost halfway done, you lose the first Oracle. It is horrendous. It is so bad for you. And that there is what we call a dead Adept. If it bounced back to the low ground, technically it could have survived there because both shades would go into the high ground. That's a mistake from Classic. Should have split those Adept shades. Shows that he's making a few little small errors. He's actually going a quick second and third gateway before Twilight behind this. What? Is he actually planning a straight up gateway timing? Oh, get out, Classic. Okay, good pullback by Classic. It's funny. I was saying if you lose the Oracle, you're in big doo-doo. I learnt that rule from Classic. So here we go. He's going second and third gate. Okay, just very safe. Twilight Counter does go down. He'll go Blink Stalker from here. But I'd like to see him try to squeeze a nice quick third base in. As he's only built a single Oracle. Hasn't lost it. Gets the Adept home as well. Going to be chronoing probes a little bit. And okay, no, he's going to try and go up to Colossus pretty quickly on 2 base. Okay, Robo, third gas. Just going for a very standard line here. Not really deviating too much. Classic feels best when he has Colossus in hand, so fair enough. Starport, Engineering Bay, off 2 barracks here. Stims on the way. TY is just going to look for a bit more of a momentum-focused bio play. Expect the 3rd barracks to go down in the near future as well. Should have taken a breather after that first game, man. I'm just having a sip of water going, woo! Haven't cast a game like that in a long time, you know? I play games like that at a much lower level on the ladder, and I'm like trying to apply my knowledge from that to it, but definitely a lot of surprises with the Battlecruiser Tempest interactions, and TY now changing pace. The Starport with the reactors being spotted, so Classic knows he's got to be worried about drops. He's bringing Stalkers forward, 3 Adepts, a few Stalkers coming, 6 Stalkers. pretty late third base, but, you know, no third command center in sight for Terran, so it's not the end of the world. Robobay, Observer, and then third Nexus. Interesting. Oracle tags once again on the production. The Marines are trying to come out right now. Stalkers and the Adepts would love to fight that. Oh, Oracle almost dies. Stalkers and the Adepts catch him. TY loses 1, 2, 3 Marines and stims back to the safety of the ramp. Once you have combat shields, maybe a siege tank out, the Protoss army looks a lot weaker. Third Nexus is up there right now. We've got Blink almost finished. Back to probing is classic. And the third command center goes down. Is this off 2 barracks? Yeah, no third barracks. Okay, so TY, because he went for the fast second barracks, the medevacs and everything, he's actually a little slower on that. I would love to see him swap the starport off, build a new reactor with it, because there's no reason to produce medevacs right now. You can see he's not using it. He could use that to get a head start on those reactors, but I think he's just a little distracted by these stalkers trying to figure out how committed this is. There's a tank on the high ground, which is nice. He gets a stalker there. Ooh. Every stalker killed is worth more than 3 Marine kills, so it's pretty damn effective. 7 Marines, 1 Reaper, 1 SCV for 3 probes and a stalker this game. Nice tag for classic. Sees the extra barracks going down. Sees the third at least. He's also seen the third command center. Colossus and Charger on the way. Who's ahead in this scenario? Well, TY's got a great worker count. He's also delayed his 4th gas to have a little bit more minerals, which is a really cool mix-up. I actually really like that. So this way he can just hit non-stop like SCVs, Marines. Not as focused on getting non-stop factory starport production early, but now he's swapped into the constant tank production that we know and love. If Classic could squeeze a quick 4th base in, I think he'd be in a good position because I don't really see like a kill timing for TY, but whoa, mass sentry? I don't know about that. That's really good if you catch TY doing a push to you. But if he just turtles up like TY is known to do, oh, and he gets the Oracle, which removes Classic's vision. Yeah, if TY just turtles, sentries are pretty bad at pushing into siege tanks. So siege tanks wreck Sentry Stalker Colossus if they're siege. The sentries are really good if you catch the army in the middle of the map and you kind of force field it so the bio can't run away, focus down all the Marines with the Colossus. But it definitely feels like a timing attack out of Classic. As I say that he does start a Forge, which is a sign of a longer game. 5th gas as well, but no extra probes being built, no 4th base, and his main will start mining out in about 30 seconds. You can see under 100 minerals left on these smaller mineral patches. Usually about 8 minutes 30 when those mineral patches do run out. Second Forge on the way as well, but still sitting on not that big a worker count. He builds a few more now. TY is just turtling, and this is going to make Classic very uncomfortable. He's making a mass Zealot army. He knows TY doesn't see that much of the map. TY is kind of blind. TY scans right now. Oh, seeing probes running out, that's really good for Classic because it means TY won't be thinking about a big attack coming his way nearly as much. TY does not know that army's there. He does not know that army's there. Oh, okay, the Cyclone sees it. Cyclone sees it. The tanks are in a pretty good position. The bio nicely spread out. The tanks and the Vikings doing great. The tanks on the high ground, the Vikings there. There's also a tank to the top left. Oh, man, this is a terrible fight for Classic. The bio just came in on such a good arc, and the tanks were so well pre-spread. Nice positioning by TY. That's going to be that. That's going to be it. That's going to be a series. Smash him in the late game. Swap into a bio style that looks like it could get aggressive. And then just never move out. Wait for the Protoss to get impatient and attack into you. Classic's going to start Disruptors 1-1 and trying to rebuild his army. But there's no chance, man. Even TY, the Turtle Master, will unsiege, move across this map and win this game. He's forgotten one of the siege tanks here. But he's unsieged most of them. There's no reason not to push, right? I guess he lost most of his bio. Unsupported siege tanks are kind of vulnerable. But, yeah, I mean, come on. Even TY surely can't resist the urge to push out here. I can't believe it, guys. Is he actually just going to sit? You know what? You know what he's doing, right? He's doing something we often teach as a fundamental rule for players who are improving at the game. Keep your timing. Doesn't matter what weirdness happens. Always stick to your plan from before the game. You know what his plan was in this game? He wants to do a 1-1 ghost timing. He's waiting for the ghosts. He's waiting for the concussive shells, all that stuff to come in. He's getting rid of these stalkers, but notice he's pulling back because he's like, well, why would I push out? I've got this amazing power boost coming. With the ghosts, there's no reason to push before the ghosts. Now, his +1 armor and his concussive are a little late, or at least the armor is. He's got a 4th command center on the way behind it. He's adding a few liberators as well. And Cyclone gets blinked on and taken out. Disruptors need big boom booms. Classic trying to make a comeback right now. I'll be very impressed if he can survive this push. That being said, it's a siege tank push. Those are the slowest kind of push. Siege tanks down there would be excellent, though. They're already starting to get very deep coverage in towards the PROTOSS third. Classic may need to start a Nexus in the bottom right. If I were him, I would already be preparing to lose this base. I don't think you're going to be able to defend this. Stalkers and Disruptors are not good units at standing and fighting. He's going to try to battery overcharge, perhaps. He does. But it disappears a second later. The Disruptors kind of waddling into their death. Classic's going to have to give this one up. It doesn't feel good, but it's the best decision. Zealot's going to start taking out workers on that base. Bio does run over to the left. Liberator's coming in as well. Nexus goes down. Classic makes the mature choice. Gives up that base. But his units are already very damaged. He is doing okay. Disruptor shots picking off lone Marines, Marauders. Zealots pick off a Viking as well. He hasn't started the fourth in the bottom right, though, and that is an issue. Classic needed to have done that 30, 40 seconds ago when we first mentioned it. If he made that call, I'd feel like there's more comeback chance. But against a 4 command center Terran, second engineering bay, armory, man, TY is rich and he is taking his time. The lack of, killer instinct, maybe some would say. I would say, damn, man, he's just doing what he wants to do. Calm, methodical, and focused play. His ghosts even are wearing winter gear. Is it just me, guys? Or are they wearing winter gear? Seriously, what the hell? This man put his winter gear skin on for his ghosts before loading up the snow map. I'm telling you, he's a genius. He's prepared. He realizes if those ghosts aren't comfortable, they won't EMP so good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. First Disruptor whiffs. Second one does get focused down. Third one whiffs. Oh, classic. Does get rid of that Widow Mine. Zealot's going to run in the left right now. Marines and a Liberator are there. Marines need to get in that bunker. Oh, but the Zealots run away, luckily. Disruptor's still zoning on the right. A single Marauder goes down. Classic keeps throwing the double shot out because he's worried about the Bio running forward through the Disruptor shot and focusing him down. So he's kind of got one shot aiming for the army and one shot making sure the Bio can't run forward. Problem is, it exhausts your Disruptor shots very quickly. And you can see he's got 10 Disruptors, but he's got no other units. 12 Stalkers, 10 Zealots. That is a trash army. Bio moving down the left of the map right now. And the right looks like an observer got scanned down. That's a big Bio army. If he just picks up and goes in the main, that's a problem. It's a lot of Disruptors, so good pullback for TY. Oh man, he's got to be careful. Ghost does go down. Yeah, good pullback for him. He's got to get out of there. This is the whole army of Classic. TY, it looks like he's kind of cornered, man. Good fight for Classic. Is it enough, though? There's an army coming down the right. They're going to get a bunch of his probes into Nexus. It looks like Classic's preparing almost for a base trade with where those probes are moving. TY can now clean up this base, rotate to the right, clean up that base as well. He checks for it and finds it. That's going to wipe Classic's economy off the map. It's 1-1 upgrades versus a Terran who's well on his way to 2-2. He's got a 5th command center on the way. Classic cannot match the numbers of TY. He needs the balls of the gods right now. He needs those great balls of fire. He needs to rain down a fierce retribution upon the Terran. But unfortunately for him, he's being outpositioned again. The Liberator's coming in, sieging up some of those Liberator zones, saying, you know what you need? You dirty Xenos need freedom! Starts throwing down the Liberator zones and coming on in. I always think of TY from his own Twitch stream where he just says hello whenever he sieges up a Liberator on a mineral land. He goes, hello! Hello! While absolutely obliterating his opponent's army. And I know he's got that gentle TY smile on his face right now as he does it, because this here has been a stellar game. The rest of his army cascades down the left, starts gunning him down. Probes try to run away through Widow Mines, and they find out Mum and Dad weren't lying when they said you don't want to go walking through the minefield. It's a bad idea. That's how you end up like one-legged Uncle Lenny. And those probes unfortunately didn't listen. They end up saying bye-bye. Widow Mines do go down. Extra command centers coming in here. Classic's going to go for one last shove. And I think really at this point, we're not looking at can Classic win the game. We're looking at how well can TY dodge balls and also kick balls. How well can he focus the Disruptors down before the balls do set off their detonation and get that payload onto him. Having a Bio squad out on the map ready to flank the army makes this a lot easier. Or just have siege tanks sieged. As long as you don't let the Zealots on the tanks, your Bio protects them. The tanks will focus down the Disruptors real nice. Widow Mine's also going to really thin out the herd on the front. Already one Stalker goes down. Second Disruptor, or Widow Mine gets a good shot. Oh, big balls, big balls. Oh, man. TY is spreading not really up to snuff with the modern spreads that I see from Beyond and Maru. But look at that. The Bio comes in from the bottom left, takes out a few of these Disruptors. Does take out a lot of that stuff. The Planetary and the tanks do hold on. TY losing 5 SCVs. And I think that'll do. 10 disruptors are full in this game. Classic's still hanging on in it, but I gotta say, I really feel this series is all about the mech, right? It's amazing that mech works. And I really want to hear everyone's thoughts. Do you think mech is absolute trash and that series didn't change your mind? Do you think, no, it's still always been decent. It's just hard to be consistent with it at pro level. It's always got to be the right map, but it's got to be a little bit of a surprise. If they know it's happening beforehand, it's not going to work. Because that's how I feel. I feel like if they know it's coming, there's just no way it's going to work out. And that's always the thing is like, you know, it's a really cool surprise to have up your sleeve. I love the way TY played it. But with how well the early and mid game went, to see how close some of those late game scenarios were, it just makes me kind of go, oh man, you got to be brave to play that style. Sentry Warp, and he was thinking about force fielding the ramp. Ain't going to work out here. Disruptors do go flying. That Prism's going to get shot down. There we go. Disruptors doing a good job. I love that Classic's fighting it out as hard as he is. With the Disruptors on the left, you can see going through the siege tanks. They all go down. And even Marauders popping out will probably eventually overwhelm the Zealots and Stalkers. At the same time, Giant Bio Army's going to eliminate all the Protoss things on their side of the map anyway. So, hey, good fight from Classic, but good fight is not good enough. Not against TY, man. TY, Taeyun is an absolute beast. And I'm so happy that he had that year of dominance in 2017. He was in the shadows for many years as a great player, but was never able to do well in individual tournaments. He was just a good Pro League player. And then he won those two big tournaments, won $400,000 in the span of a month and a half back in 2017. And since then, he's always been a top dog. For a couple of years there, he was the only thorn in Maru's side. Maru very happy that he went to the military, and no longer did Maru lose GSL to TY in the semis or the quarters. GG, well played. TY is still a monster, and he's back in fine form.